When you think of Greenland, what comes to mind? A blank space on the map, a warning label for the planet, an endless sheet of white. But that's only what it looks like from far away. This island, larger than Western Europe, has been misunderstood for centuries. Beneath the ice, there is motion, color, sound, life. Greenland isn't empty, it's quiet. And in that quiet, 56,000 people have learned how to live with the cold. Not against it. Fishing towns cling to rock, glaciers breathe and crack like thunder, and the land, ancient, patient, moves at its own pace. Recently, Greenland has been trending in headlines as the planet's early warning system. But numbers don't tell the whole story, because this is not just a place that's melting, it's a place that's adapting. This journey isn't about the Greenland you already know, it's about the one you haven't seen. Nuuk doesn't announce itself loudly. It reveals itself slowly. At first glance, it feels small, a city wrapped between granite mountains and an endless sea. But stay a moment longer, and Nuuk begins to speak. Colourful houses cling to the rock, painted red, blue, yellow, not for beauty alone, but for survival. In winter, colour means orientation. In darkness, it means home. This is the heart of modern Greenland, where ancient hunting traditions coexist with parliament buildings. Where kayaks once ruled the fjord, and now fishing boats hum beside them. You hear the wind first, then the gulls. Then laughter drifting from a cafe that feels impossibly warm for a city this far north. Nuuk is young, half the population is under 30. And you can feel it. Music studios in old warehouses, street art on concrete walls, a quiet confidence growing in a place long spoken about but rarely listened to. From here, Greenland doesn't feel distant or frozen. It feels awake. This isn't the edge of the world. It's the beginning of a different one. Leaving Nuuk, the landscape begins to loosen its grip on modernity. Disko Island rises from the sea like something unfinished. Dark, heavy, volcanic. These cliffs are not ice, they are basalt. Born from fire, not cold. A reminder that Greenland's story doesn't begin with glaciers, but with magma. Waterfalls spill from impossible heights, cutting through black rock as if the island itself is still cooling. Steam sometimes rises from the ground. The earth here is alive beneath your feet. The silence is different on Disko Island, deeper, less forgiving. Winds move fast across open tundra. The sea shifts colour by the minute, steel grey, deep blue, suddenly silver. There are no roads connecting places here, only routes remembered by fishermen, hunters, and time. Standing on the cliffs, you feel small in a way that's hard to explain. Not insignificant, just temporary. Disko Island doesn't invite you. It doesn't perform. It simply exists, unbothered, unrushed. And for a moment, you're allowed to exist with it. On the southern edge of Disko Island, Kekatasuak waits. It's not a village that tries to impress you. It doesn't need to. Small wooden houses face the sea, spaced just far enough apart to respect the wind. Dogs rest on the shore, watching nothing and everything. Here, time doesn't disappear. It stretches. For more than a century, this quiet settlement has been a center of Arctic curiosity. Since 1906, scientists have come here, not to conquer the land, but to listen to it. The Arctic station stands just beyond the town. Weather instruments hum softly, notes are taken, glaciers are watched, not chased. But Kekatasuak isn't a research outpost pretending to be a town. It's a community first. Children walk home against the wind like it's normal. Fishermen prepare nets beside scientists carrying notebooks. Knowledge here isn't locked in labs. It's shared over meals, over stories, over years. At night, the light lingers far longer than expected. The sea reflects the sky, and the line between science and survival blurs. This is where Greenland studies itself, quietly, patiently. Ilulissat doesn't whisper. It cracks. It groans. It echoes. This town sits on the edge of constant motion, where ice is never still, and neither are the people who live beside it. Colourful homes line the rocky coast, facing a bay filled with giants. Icebergs drift past like slow-moving cities, each one older than memory. Here, the soundscape is unforgettable. Not silence, but pressure. The deep, hollow boom of ice splitting somewhere beyond sight. A reminder that the land is always working. Ilulissat is famous, and it knows it. Tour boats idle in the harbour. Cameras wait for the perfect collapse. But beyond the lenses, life continues at a steady rhythm. Locals read the ice like weather. They know which sounds matter and which don't. To them, this isn't spectacle, it's proximity. Children grow up learning that the horizon can move, that mountains can float, that nothing here is permanent. Ilulissat doesn't romanticize the ice, it respects it. Because when you live this close to something powerful, you don't admire it, you listen. Just beyond the town, the land opens. The Ilulissat Icefjord is not quiet, it breathes. A long corridor of ice stretches inland, crowded with frozen giants locked together, some grounded, some waiting, some already on their way out to sea. This is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, but labels feel small here. Icebergs pile up like traffic, jamming the fjord in slow motion. Some tilt, some grind against each other, Some suddenly give in. The sound travels far, a deep crack, a thunderous splash, then ripples. Walking the trail along the ice fjord feels unreal. The ground is solid beneath your boots, but everything in front of you is moving, even when it looks still. People stop talking without realizing it. Words don't add much here. This ice began its journey tens of thousands of years ago. Snow fell, compressed, moved inch by inch toward this moment, and now it waits. Balanced between land and ocean, the ice fjord doesn't rush. It doesn't explain itself. It simply shows you how slow power really is. Far inland, the story begins. Sermeq Kujalleq doesn't look fast. It doesn't sound fast, but it is. This glacier is one of the most active on Earth, moving forward up to 40 meters every single day. A frozen river that never sleeps. Standing near it, the scale is difficult to process. Walls of ice rise like cathedrals. Blue veins cut through white, revealing pressure trapped over centuries. Every crack you hear is motion. Every echo is distance collapsing. This glacier feeds the ice fjord. It is the source of the giants drifting past Ilulissat, the beginning of an iceberg's long goodbye to land. Scientists monitor it constantly. Satellites trace its movement, but numbers can't capture the feeling of standing this close. The air feels colder here, sharper, as if the glacier is breathing it in. You don't feel threatened, you feel corrected, because Sermeq Kujalleq doesn't respond to urgency, it responds to time, and time is something it has plenty of. To reach Tasiilaq, you don't drive. You arrive by helicopter, or by boat when the weather allows it. This is East Greenland's largest town, and one of its most isolated. Mountains rise sharply behind it, jagged and dark, as if protecting what little warmth exists here. The sea in front is often restless. Ice drifts in without warning. Tasiilaq feels like the edge of something, not the end, but the last place before silence takes over. Life here is shaped by weather first, schedules second. Plans are flexible, patience is essential. Homes cluster together for shelter. Dogs are tied near the shore, alert and ready. The wind carries stories, some spoken, some remembered. Culture here runs deep, drum dancing, storytelling, a rhythm older than borders. People don't ask if the weather will change, they ask when. Tasiilaq doesn't feel temporary, it feels anchored. Because when survival depends on respect for nature, you don't fight isolation. You learn to live inside it. East Greenland feels older. Not in years, but in memory. This side of the island is rougher, less visited, less explained. Mountains rise without warning, fjords cut deep into the land, and settlements appear like punctuation marks in a long, quiet sentence. Here, traditions hold tighter. Hunting isn't history, it's continuity. Kayaks still matter. So do stories passed down without paper. The weather arrives unannounced, storms roll in fast, and when they do, everything stops. There's a kind of honesty to East Greenland. No performances, no shortcuts. Life follows the seasons closely: ice, thaw, light, dark. Each one felt fully. You don't rush here. You can't. Even the silence feels intentional, as if the land is listening back. East Greenland doesn't try to compete with the West. It doesn't need cities or headlines. It offers something rarer. A place where the modern world hasn't erased the old one, only learned to stand beside it. And in that balance, something resilient survives. There are places on Earth where humans are visitors. And then there are places where humans are barely a footnote. Northeast Greenland National Park is the largest national park in the world, bigger than most countries. And almost completely uninhabited. No towns, no roads, no cell signal. Just ice, mountains, and distance. Here, polar bears outnumber people. Musk oxen move slowly across the tundra, and the wind carries no traces of civilization. The only regular human presence belongs to the Sirius Patrol, small teams traveling by dog sled, months at a time, patrolling borders drawn on maps but enforced by endurance. Their journey isn't about speed, it's about survival in a place that doesn't forgive mistakes. The scale here is overwhelming. Horizons stretch endlessly. The sky feels closer than the ground. You don't feel like you're exploring nature. You feel like you're being allowed into it. Briefly, conditionally, Northeast Greenland doesn't challenge you, it ignores you. And somehow, that feels humbling. It isn't a backdrop, it's a presence. The Greenland Ice Sheet covers nearly 80% of the country. A body of ice so vast, it creates its own weather. So heavy, it presses the land beneath it downward. Standing on it feels like standing on time itself. No landmarks, no edges, just white, stretching in every direction. Beneath your feet lies one of the largest freshwater reserves on Earth. Frozen snowfall layered over hundreds of thousands of years. Each layer a memory of a different climate. The wind moves differently here. Sound travels farther. Thoughts slow down. This is not emptiness, it's compression. Pressure turned into stillness. Scientists drill deep into the ice, reading history like pages in a book. But even without data, the feeling is unmistakable. This place sets boundaries for ecosystems, for oceans, for the planet itself. The ice sheet doesn't ask for attention. It doesn't announce change loudly. It simply exists, massive, quiet, and consequential. And when something this large shifts, the world feels it. Greenland is often reduced to numbers. Tons of ice, rising seas, global charts. But that's not what it feels like to be here. From the volcanic cliffs of Disko Island to the quiet streets of Nuuk, from drifting icebergs in Ilulissat to the endless white of the ice sheet, this is not a land disappearing. It's a land adjusting. For more than 4,000 years, people here have adapted to cold, to isolation, to change. Greenland doesn't resist the future. It absorbs it, slowly, deliberately. This island is not a warning sign. It's a lesson that life doesn't need comfort to endure, only balance. So the question isn't what Greenland is losing, it's what the rest of the world might learn by finally paying attention. If this journey moved you, stay with us. Share your thoughts below, because some places aren't meant to be scrolled past, they're meant to be felt.